my best friend called me. Your plan has brought considerable profit to our company. My boss wants to recruit you to work abroad. What do you think? I looked at the honor certificate covered in a thick layer of dust. See you at the airport in 7 days. At night, Jason came home, walked up to me and said, Emily is seriously ill. Her last wish is to hold a wedding, and I promised her it will be held in 7 days. I lowered my eyelids and replied, I understand. 7 days later, I boarded the plane, and Jason's calls kept coming in. I sent a text message, then took the SIM card out of my phone and threw it into the trash can. This time, we will never meet again. This was the first time I responded to Jason so calmly. He hesitated for a moment, then turned and left the room. I didn't even look at him and continued packing my own luggage. Before long, he came again, surprisingly being the first to call me to eat. There were 5 dishes on the table, among which the sweet and sour ribs and pickled fish were made by Jason and were also Emily's favorites. Jason prepared the lunchbox, patiently picking out every fish bone from the fish until he was sure there were none left before putting it into the lunchbox. But when we first got together, I asked him to help me peel a shrimp, and he found it troublesome. During the process of picking up food, his phone kept ringing. He glanced at it and quickly covered the lunchbox. You eat first, I'll go deliver some food. After saying this, he hurriedly walked out the door. I casually took a couple of bites and put the remaining food into the insulated box. By 12 o'clock, there was no movement at the door, and he didn't even send me a single text message. But yesterday was my 25th birthday. Before Emily came back, he would always wish me a happy birthday at midnight, but now even that blessing is a luxury. Emily and Jason grew up together. 5 years ago, she left here for another man, and Jason has been drowning his sorrows in alcohol every day, living in despair. Until he met me, he started working seriously and kept getting promoted. I once thought it was my true love that saved him. But a month ago, Emily came back. I then realized that the woman he mentioned when drunk and in loving moments was not me. It turned out he could run through all the night markets at 3 in the morning just to buy her a bowl of wontons. At first, I begged him to accompany me to buy clothes, but he only said he was too busy with work and had no time. I took a deep breath and crossed off a day on the calendar. Lying in bed, tossing and turning, I heard music in the room. Following the sound, I found a phone in Jason's room. With trembling fingers, I unlocked the phone using Emily's birthday. As soon as I opened it, there were intimate messages between the two of him. Jason, I miss you. Me too. Spending the whole day with her today made me miss you even more. I'll come to be with you tomorrow. It turns out that during the time I was on a business trip, Jason had already brought Emily home. Ridiculously, even prepared a week's worth of meals for him and put them in the freezer, and despite being busy and exhausted outside, I still reminded him to eat on time. This phone is full of photos of Emily. In just 1 month, there are already 5,200 pictures. But there are very few photos of me on his phone. When I saw their wedding photos, I felt as if icy water had been poured over me from head to toe, chilling me to the bone.
So, what does that make me know?
This morning, after I got up and passed through the living room, Jason was already sitting on the sofa, constantly replying to messages with a smile on his lips. I felt a tightness in my chest. Every time I sent him a message, I only received him or okay in return. It turns out that being sparing with words was only for me. When he came out of the bathroom, he had already put the soy milk and fried dough sticks he brought back into bowls and placed them on the table. As soon as I sat down, Jason brought breakfast to me. Eat quickly. It won't taste good if it gets cold later. He would have already left for work at this time in the past. Is something wrong? I asked directly, without picking up my chopsticks. Emily is being discharged from the hospital, and she has no one to take care of her. I want her to move in with us. I was silent for a moment, okay? Then I picked up my chopsticks to grab a piece of fried dough, took a bite, crispy and crunchy, the texture I love, but now it felt like chewing wax. Jason was still sitting beside me without getting up. I looked at him and continued. Anything else? He looked like he found it hard to speak, and sometimes I really hate my own understanding nature. I'll move the stuff after I finish eating. Jason cleared his throat and explained, the room you live in is bright and sunny. which is beneficial for her physical and mental recovery. I gave a deep hum of acknowledgement. Seeing me get up, he handed me a tissue. You move into my room, I'll sleep in the living room. Recalling when I first moved in, my mood was joyful, imagining that the two of us could live happily here. It turns out this was just my one-sided wishful thinking. Suddenly, I saw a small box inside the cabinet, which contained only a necklace. This is the only gift Jason gave me, and I cherish it like a treasure, unwilling to wear it and keep it stored away. When I opened the box, I saw that the necklace had oxidized and rusted. I couldn't find the cloth to polish silver in my room, so I went to his room. The weather was bad, and the room was a bit dim. I turned on the light and searched around the room, then saw a rosewood jewelry box and a letter in the drawer. I restrained myself from opening it, but in the end, curiosity got the better of me, and I unfolded the letter. The letter was written by Jason, and inside the jewelry box was a jade bracelet passed down from his ancestors, which he planned to give to Emily when she moved in. I gave a self-mocking smile and threw the necklace in my hand into the trash can. The next day, Jason came back with Emily. Emily had 2 small dimples when she smiled, very sweet. As soon as she saw me, she reached out her hand and said, "Hello, I'm Emily. Sorry to bother you this time." I smiled slightly. Emily awkwardly withdrew her hand and rubbed them together. Jason immediately helped Emily sit on the sofa, poured her some hot water, and then peeled an apple for her. I stood beside them feeling unnecessary, then slowly walked into the room. "Cece, where's the rag?" Jason asked aloud. I turned to look at him, pointing towards the bathroom. "It's in the cabinet." I saw him immediately run towards the bathroom, take out the rag, and walk towards my previous room. In the past, Jason always thought the rag was too dirty and would never touch it. He actually took the initiative to clean up now. When we just moved in, I spent a whole day and night cleaning the entire house, waiting for him to come back and live here. My nose tingled a little, and I gathered my thoughts and walked into the room. I sat quietly by the desk, listening to the sounds outside. "Jason, what's wrong, Emily?" Emily blushed and said, I want to go to the bathroom." In an instant, Jason knocked on my door. "Cece, Emily needs your help." I opened the door and walked straight past him, helping Emily to the bathroom. Seeing her squat down, I finally let go and turned around. Emily made a sound, and I turned my head. Jason rushed in from the living room with a worried look. "Emily, what's wrong?" Before I could react, he pushed me aside and ran out holding Emily. I walked into the living room, where Jason was carefully blowing on Emily's wound and applying medicine. Emily gasped, and Jason frowned deeply. He looked at me angrily and accused. "Emily is the patient. How could you let her get hurt?" Sitting beside him, Emily grabbed his hand, her eyes red as she looked up and said, "Don't blame Cece. I accidentally fell. Please don't argue with Cece because of me." Jason supported Emily and said gently, "Don't make excuses for her. If she were even half as sensible as you, she wouldn't have let you fall." He shouted at me angrily, "Apologize." My heart tightened as I saw his curious expression. My heart was completely shattered. The room fell into silence, and Emily painfully stood up to hug Jason. I quickly hid in the room, closed the door, and tears uncontrollably fell. After calming myself, I wrote and sent my resignation letter. There were only 3 days left. At the dining table, my boss called me. I put down my chopsticks and went into the room to answer. When I came back, Jason asked in surprise, "Why do you need to do the handover? Are you resigning?" I took a bite of the dish and responded lightly, "Just a job transfer." Jason didn't say anything more and kept serving food to Emily. After the meal, Jason went into the room and said to me, "Tomorrow we'll go pick out rings." I stopped typing, "Just the 2 of us?" Jason nodded, and seeing me continue working, he walked out of the room, casually closing the door behind him. In the afternoon, as I was about to go out, Emily happened to be sitting on the sofa. When she saw me, she gave a slight smile, then lowered her gaze to the jade bracelet on her hand. "Do you know? This is the wedding gift Jason gave me, and it's also the 99th gift. She looked up, her eyes full of pride and provocation. I ignored her and was about to open the door when Emily continued. We stayed up late last night writing the invitations. It was exhausting. After all, it's a wedding for 3 people, but he said there's no need to invite you. I sneered coldly. Thank you for your hard work. Emily walked up beside me and stopped pretending. A tree needs its bark, a person needs face. Jason has already taken me home. How can you still not understand? Do you really think he wants to marry you? Then why are only my name and is on the invitation? For a moment, my face turned pale. She leaned close to me and showed off the sparkling diamond ring on her finger. Our wedding photos and rings are already prepared, so what about yours? Seeing that I remained silent, Emily held her phone up in front of my eyes, playing their video, with shameful sounds continuously coming from it. The sounds grew louder, making me blush with embarrassment, while Emily became even more brazen and said, "Do you know what his favorite move is?" She leaned close to my ear and continued. He said he likes me on top the most. Seeing me enjoy it makes him feel more aroused. He said when he's with you, you're like a dead fish, unable to excite him at all. After she finished speaking, Emily burst into laughter. I, pale-faced, fled in panic, but unexpectedly fell to the ground near the door, suddenly dizzy, with a hot flow surging from my lower body. When I opened my eyes again, everything was pure white, and Jason's worried gaze was upon me. I turned my head to the other side. Jason tightly held my cold hand and choked up, saying, "You had a miscarriage." The baby was almost 2 months along. Hearing this, my tears uncontrollably fell, drowning into the pillow. Then I heard him continue, "Your health isn't good right now. How about postponing the wedding?" I gritted my teeth and nodded with difficulty. Okay. At mealtime, Jason helped me sit up and thoughtfully fed me a bowl of porridge himself. After the meal, he carefully wiped my face, hands, and body. Watching what he did, I felt like laughing. Is this a slap followed by a sweet treat? Unfortunately, I no longer care for this sweet treat. On the 6th night, Emily appeared in the ward covered in injuries. Jason took her outside the ward. I opened my eyes and looked toward the door, where Emily was crying bitterly while holding him. Hearing the sounds outside gradually fade away, I slowly got up and followed the sound to the stairwell. Only hearing Emily say fearfully, "My ex-husband is going to take me back. Let's hurry and hold the wedding, where I really might lose my life." Her voice was urgent, but Jason remained silent. Emily's voice grew softer. "Forget it. I can't drag you down any longer. It's all my fate. I wasn't meant to live long anyway." But as she turned to leave, Jason quickly reached out and held her. "I promise you, I will definitely keep my word. This time, I will never let you leave me again. What about her? I will take care of her for the rest of my life." Then, Jason continued, "Luckily the child is gone, otherwise, what would you do?" Instantly, I felt all the blood in my body freeze. Deep in emotion, Emily kept Jason's face and kissed him, and the two began to indulge in the stairwell. I wiped the cold tears off my face and fled the scene in panic. That night, Jason only sent me one text message. "The wedding is canceled tomorrow. I'll handle the aftermath first, and after I'm done, I'll come to the hospital." I opened the camera at my front door, intending to check the video of me falling that day, but unexpectedly, I saw something even more shocking. I saved the video and set it to be sent by email at a scheduled time. At 9 in the morning, I packed up and headed straight to the airport. I sent him one last message, "Happy wedding." As I boarded the plane, my phone kept ringing. I looked down and saw it was Jason. More messages kept coming. "Cece, where are you? Please just reply to me." Jason kept replaying the text message in his mind, feeling anxious and nervously dialing the phone with trembling hands. But it was always a disconnected number. "Jason, it's time for us to go toast," Emily said, dressed in an evening gown and holding a wine glass as she walked up to him. Jason ignored her, focusing solely on calling his assistant, "Check where Cece has gone." A moment later, the assistant called back, "Mr. Jason, I have searched for a long time, but there is no such person." "What?" Jason was shocked. Meanwhile, I was sitting on the plane, looking at the starry night sky outside the window, firmly believing that everything would get better and better. Arriving in a foreign country, with my best friend Lily accompanying me, I gradually came out of my sadness. Immersed in work every day, just as the ancients said, unlucky in love, successful at work, with projects continuously being successfully completed, my position and salary have also increased accordingly. To celebrate my promotion, I treated my colleagues to dinner and karaoke. This was also the first time I met the company boss. Lily took my hand and led me to him. He took the initiative to extend his hand and greet me, "Hello, Cece." I looked at him in shock. "Are you Ethan?" Looking at Ethan's tall and upright figure, with tight and powerful muscle lines, he was as perfect as a sculpture. If it weren't for the mole between his eyebrows, I wouldn't have recognized him. When he was little, he had a runny nose and was chubby. Compared to now, he was like a completely different person. Ethan raised an eyebrow. "After graduating from elementary school, I immigrated here with my parents and tried every possible way to find you, but you never replied to my messages." I couldn't help but be surprised to see disappointment on his face. What was he disappointed about? Lily sat beside us with a look of someone enjoying the drama. When we got home, her gossiping heart was ignited. "Cece, why have you never mentioned Mr. Ethan before? He and I were elementary school classmates. After he moved away, we never contacted each other again." I poured a glass of water, sat on the sofa, and flipped through my phone. Unexpectedly, I saw a message from Jason. "Cece, stop making a fuss. Come home in 3 days, or I'll come find you myself." I don't know where he got my new phone number. Now I don't want to think about anything related to him anymore, so I quickly deleted the message and threw the phone aside. Lily was still nagging in my ear. "They say Mr. Ethan is self-disciplined, but he has liked a girl for many years. No one knows who she is. She is really so lucky." I looked at the ceiling and sighed. Is being loved happiness? Then the one who is not loved is sorrow. Seeing my mood was off, she immediately changed the subject. "The company is organizing a team-building event in a couple of days. Seems like a nearby trip. Do you want to join?" Thinking of that message, I decided to join the team-building event. 3 days later, I got on the bus with Lily. She greeted me and then went straight to the back seats. I glanced around and saw that the only empty seat left was next to Ethan. I sat down, smiling and nodding at him. Ethan had a strong presence, and the atmosphere was a bit awkward. Fortunately, he took the initiative to start the conversation, and we chatted smoothly all the way. Time flew by quickly. After arriving at the hotel, seeing me wearing high heels, Ethan carefully helped me out of the car. I sensed a burning gaze, and when I turned my head, I saw Jason staring at me with a face full of anger. Ethan saw that I wasn't moving and thought it was because of the cold local temperature. I was only wearing a thin dress, so he took off his coat and draped it over me. This action immediately caused the surrounding colleagues to start teasing, and I could only lower my head and walk inside. Jason grabbed my hand and quickly took the elevator. As soon as the elevator doors opened, he brought me to his room. I wanted to break free, but he held me tightly. Entering the room, he forcefully tore off my clothes, pressed me against the wall, and a cold sensation made me shiver. But he didn't notice my unusual reaction and questioned, "What is this? Abandoning me to be with another man? Cece, stop messing around. Come back with me immediately. I won't allow you to leave me again." Just as he was about to lean down close to me, slap. I slapped him in the face, pushed him away, and shouted loudly, "Are you clear-headed now? Jason, it's over between us. There's no need for you to keep entangling. From now on, bridges are bridges, roads are roads, and we go our separate ways." I ran out of his room, and Ethan was waiting at the door. I really couldn't hold on and fainted to the ground. When I came to, Ethan was sitting on the single sofa with his eyes closed. Lily sat on my hospital bed. "Cece, are you feeling better?" As soon as the words fell, Ethan immediately opened his eyes and got up, walking over. His warm palm touched my forehead. "The fever has gone down. I'll go handle some things first. Contact me anytime if needed." After Ethan left, Lily hurriedly poured me some water and asked, "How did Jason find you?" I shook my head. I don't know where he got the information from. I've changed everything, so logically, he shouldn't be able to find me. Back at the hotel, I rummaged through my suitcase and found a couple's pendant in the corner. As soon as I opened the pendant, I found that it actually contained a miniature locator. I angrily grabbed it, ready to confront Jason, but as soon as I stepped outside, he was already standing at the door, holding a bouquet of tulips, Emily's favorite. I'm sorry, Cece, I was wrong. I snorted coldly. Jason, I don't need your apology. Take this thing back. I threw the miniature locator at him. Jason's face instantly turned pale. He opened his mouth to explain, this is something I specially installed when we first got together, so you could accurately know my location. Then when did you switch yours to mine? I laughed angrily. Jason, don't think so dirty of people. I'm not you. I can't do something that goes against morality. Since we're talking about breaking up, let's part on good terms and not make things awkward for each other anymore. Jason wanted to say something else, but I closed the door, cutting off his argument. I didn't leave the room that day, and when the doorbell rang, I thought Lily was bringing me food. Hearing the door open, I lay in bed and said, Lily, I can't eat. Just put it on the table first. People are like iron, and food is like steel. Skipping a meal makes you hungry. It's already evening, and you still won't eat? I heard Ethan's voice and immediately got out of bed, running my hand through my messy hair. Seeing my uneasy expression, he smiled and said, it's a bit like when you were a kid. I put on my coat and obediently sat by the table to eat. I was indeed hungry. When I opened the food, it was my favorite Hunan cuisine. Eating my beloved spicy stir-fried pork with chili in this foreign land was incredibly delicious, so delicious that it brought tears to my eyes. I remembered being with Jason, and to match his eating habits, I gave up spicy food. But Emily likes sweet flavors, and his dishes basically all have sugar. Ethan handed me a tissue, and after wiping my tears and runny nose, I finished the meal in no time. Seeing my good appetite, he affectionately patted my head. Are you full? I'll take you for a walk. The night view here is really nice. The neon lights flicker on the street, and every corner is a beautiful scene. I picked up my phone to take a photo, and as soon as the camera opened, it was on the front-facing mode. Ethan was staring at me intently, and I accidentally pressed the shutter button. He snapped out of it and said a bit shyly, do you want me to take a few pictures for you? Take 9 photos, just enough to post a 9 grid. I handed him the phone, and after he seriously took a few shots, he suddenly stared at the phone in a daze. Then, he handed the phone back to me. There's a message on WeChat. I took it and saw that it was a video sent by Jason's friend. Jason was dead drunk again, back to living a drunken, dreamlike life, still muttering my name and saying sorry. Belated affection is cheaper than grass. I even deleted his friend's WeChat. I don't want to get involved with rotten people and rotten things anymore. Losing interest in having fun, I took a taxi with Lily back home overnight after returning to the hotel. In the days that followed, Jason would send some things, steal the little trinkets I used to like. I used to be happy for several days, but now I don't need these anymore and threw them away along with the delivery boxes. Ethan always invites me to eat and watch movies when he's not busy, but I always refuse. I don't want to waste time on relationships. What's so good about love? Making money is the right path. Lily couldn't stand it and said, Cece, not all men are like Jason. You should open your heart to accept others, just like the lyrics say. Only by letting go of the wrong can you meet the right. I rolled my eyes at her. Read fewer romance novels. They're not good for your brain. I didn't say anything wrong, mister. Ethan has money if he wants money, and looks if he wants looks. What are you dissatisfied with? Yeah, he's good in every way, but I have no feelings for him, all right? After saying this, I turned my head and saw Ethan's resentful eyes. He quickly walked into his office. When I entered his office with the proposal, his face was calm and composed, but his words were sharp and confrontational. Finally, he blurted out, Where do you not feel anything? I was stunned for a moment, blushing as I looked at him. It's okay. I can wait slowly. After all, I've already waited 15 years, so a little more time doesn't matter. He casually signed the document, then took his phone and left, leaving me standing there confused. Lily saw how clumsy I was with feelings and could only wish she could drill into my mind. Days passed by quietly, and I thought I would have no more contact with Jason, but unexpectedly, Emily came looking for me. I didn't want to see her, but Lily told me that her pregnancy was quite advanced. What on earth made her travel thousands of miles to find me? As soon as she saw me, her face was full of anxiety. "Cece, please tell me where Jason is? Can you ask him to come out and see me?" Seeing that she was nervous and also noticing she was pregnant, I hurriedly helped her sit down. I responded seriously to her, "I have no contact with Jason at all." "How is that possible?" Emily was very flustered. She stood up and wanted to kneel down. "I beg you, you must know his whereabouts." Since we were at the company, Emily spoke very loudly, drawing the attention of our colleagues to me. I could only take her to the cafe next to the company. In the conversation with Emily, she believed that Jason was her savior, and as soon as Jason left, she seemed to lose her soul. After I struggled to calm Emily down, it was already dark. After sending her onto the car, I also got into a taxi parked nearby. The smell inside the car was a bit off, but before I could react, I had already fainted. When I opened my eyes, I found myself tied to a chair in an abandoned factory. Emily, with her belly sticking out, looked at me with an attitude completely different from the daytime. "Cece, I just don't believe Jason won't jump out once he knows you're missing." I looked at her coldly and said, "You overestimate me. You might not know, but ever since you left, Jason has completely changed. The wedding was called off. He hasn't done a single thing he promised me, and he even took back the jade bracelet he gave me." Emily said, lowering her head to look at her belly, "He doesn't even want our child." Seeing Emily's face grow increasingly fierce, I dared not provoke her further, and could only ignore her. But she had no intention of letting me go. She picked up a knife from the table and walked toward me. At this moment, a man walked in from outside. "Emily, we agreed. No one is going to get hurt." Emily turned to look at him, smiling strangely. "I want Jason to see her turned into an ugly monster, so he won't keep thinking about her." The man tried to stop her, but he was afraid of hurting her belly, so he could only stand aside, feeling anxious. I recognized this man as the one in the video I recorded. He is Emily's ex-husband, Victor. Emily has been deceiving Jason all along. Victor treated her well, but she was never satisfied and wanted a better material life, so she went back to Jason. That video contained a conversation between Victor and her, and also recorded them entwined on the sofa. Perhaps Jason disappeared after seeing the video, feeling betrayed by Emily. When I came to my senses, the sharp knife in Emily's hand was about to fall on my face. I struggled with all my might, but it was in vain. The ropes bound me very tightly. So I closed my eyes and waited. Suddenly, I heard Jason's voice, "Emily, stop." The pain did not come over me. I opened my eyes, and Jason was tightly holding the knife in Emily's hand, blood dripping down. Seeing me open my eyes wide, Jason spoke very gently, "Don't be afraid. I'm here. She won't do anything to you." As I expected, Cece, you really can lure him out. Emily's gaze was vicious, making my heart skip a beat. When Victor saw Jason arrive, he angrily walked over to Emily, took the knife from her hand, and fiercely stabbed it into Jason's body. When Jason reacted, he said, "Jason, this is what you owe Emily. You played with her, and then abandoned her. This is your retribution." Jason fell to the ground, his eyes full of deep affection and guilt. I saw his lips moving. "I'm sorry, I love you." Then he weakly closed his eyes. What meaning does a belated confession have? Victor turned his gaze back to me. I could tell he wanted to kill me to silence me, and I couldn't help but scream. At that moment, gunshots rang out. Victor fell right before my eyes, his eyes still open, blood spilling from his mouth. In an instant, I felt light as air, as if I were dreaming. Emily went mad, screaming as she ran out of the factory. I don't know where she went afterward. All I know is that when I woke up, Ethan was by my side. I no longer inquired about Jason's matters. Whether he is dead or alive has nothing to do with me. In this entanglement of love and hate, no one is a winner. Let the past be like the wind, and everything follow fate. Since then, in the middle of the night, I wake up startled from nightmares. Ethan wiped his sweat to soothe my uneasy heart. Gradually, I was moved by his sincerity. He held a grand wedding for me. At the wedding, I seemed to catch a glimpse of Jason's figure, but it was just a fleeting glance, and I no longer paid attention. While we were enjoying the blessings of family and friends, there was an interruption on the scene. A disheveled woman ran in holding a few-month-old baby. She held the child with one hand and grabbed food with the other, putting it into her mouth, as if she had been hungry for a long time. I walked over, picked up some milk, and handed it to her, then tucked her already knotted hair behind her ear. At that moment, I recognized her as Emily. Perhaps she was just pretending to be crazy and foolish. When she recognized me, she turned and fled in panic. All phenomena are empty, but cause and effect are not empty. Everything is both cause and effect. May we all be the best versions of ourselves.